Welcome to another episode where I get the opportunity to speak to some incredible people from around the world, incredible leaders who are at the very top end of their game, and having some wonderful conversations around their leadership philosophy on human-centered leadership. And today's guest is no less. Today's guest is all the way from America. Now, Subash is an incredible individual. I only met him on LinkedIn about a week or so ago. And Subash is technically, if we want to do it accurate, he's a CEO of a company called AGORA Edge, but he describes himself as just one of the guys. In fact, his business card doesn't have any title. I really like the idea of that. Subash came to the United States from Gujarat in India in 1970 as an engineer, and he worked in some large organizations, but he felt that there was so much bureaucracy in large organizations. So he looked for medium-sized organizations where relationship building was really at the heart of everything that they do. But in 1985, the opportunity of a lifetime came by, and he jumped in with both feet. An opportunity came to buy a leather manufacture company. Now, this guy's an engineer, so he got into leather. How strange is that? But he got in there, started with 2 people, and now his organization has 300 people, occupying 3,000 square feet with factories in Taiwan and Shenzhen. He supplies now more than just leather. He's into medical supplies around synthetics, and he also does fire safety. In fact, they changed the name of this organization from Agora to AGORA Edge because he says they provide the edge to their customers. I really like that. Hey, Subash, good to see you and welcome to the podcast.
Nice meeting you, Kul.
It's great to see you. What's the weather like over in the United States right now?
Warm. Outside is warmer now, maybe upper 90s, but, we get used to it.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are used to warm weather. We here today is 30 degrees Celsius. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit here in the UK. And this is hot for the United Kingdom. So everybody is like hiding inside right now. But you guys will be like, hey, this is nothing.
Yeah, it's okay, right?
Good to have you on the program. So Subash, I mean, I came across you only like a week or so ago when somebody mentioned you on on one of my posts. And I thought, I really need to check out Subash. So you're 73 years old, but I'm talking to you just before we started. You're full of such energy and passion for what you do. Tell me what it is that drives you on a day-to-day basis.
I guess since I started the business, I want to make sure that all our employees are kept with us, and get paid. So it's very important for me to be engaged. And I also like being an engineer. We do all custom work. So it's always something new, which might be a new technology, new machine I need to buy. And that just keeps me going. And I've been trying to get young people in the company. They have a lot more to offer than I do. I mean, they're pretty savvy with the knowledge, more computer literate, which I'm not. So I'm enjoying myself, learning from that, And so with that, I allow them to kind of shine, kind of keep a tab of what's happening. But so that has happened. We got a guy here, he's from India as well, in IT. I mean, he is self-made, and we have so much. We're so advanced, I feel, for a company our size in our IT that when our large customers come over here, they see what we have and the factory as well as our cell phone, they're amazed. So I think that but he's self-made, I said, okay, you can, whatever you need, I give it to you. So that's what I've done with the people who have the ability to flourish. I've been enabler. I've been giving them what they want. And I think after that, it's up to them. And we have some really shining star in this company. I mean, we have so many of them in different areas. It's unbelievable. Sometimes I wonder how we are got together, but it's working. Yeah, we have a very great team.
That's incredible. I mean, there's so much I need to just unpack within there. So when you talk about that, you give the example of this guy from India who's self-made. Do you mean that he's taught himself?
As a matter of fact, when he is actually an engineer as well, he came right out of school from USF, and we were installing a new software in our company, and he said that, can I be part of it? I said, sure. And he liked that. Then he said, I think it was a Windows 95, it's a big book, very expensive, maybe in those days, hundreds of dollars. I said, can I buy that? I said, sure, what are you going to do with it? He said, I'm going to read it and see what I can learn. And so that's what he did. And then after that, he slowly, it's amazing. And we have the customer FedEx, right? What happened is FedEx, I used to ship FedEx what we made in the warehouse. They said, Subash, can you just direct ship to our locations all over the world? I said, sure. I never said no, by the way. So I came back, I said, what you gotta do is, well, you gotta have go to it'd be an EDI order. You gotta have somebody to give you the order. So I came back. I said, Raghu, I said, I like the idea of doing it, but I don't like to pay somebody every month. He said, well, give me about a week. So he actually come up with software where he goes. Our computer goes to FedEx. We have a mailbox there. He retrieves the orders. We print them at shipping. We ship it. Invoice electronically, we get paid electronically. It's all done by him. That was one of the first big things he did, in automating our place. So FedEx, when they have a new software they wanted to develop, they always have AGORA in St. Petersburg do the first testing.
That's incredible. So what you're saying there is that you had this faith and trust in this guy who had the passion to do something, even though he didn't have the qualifications. There's a lot to be said within that. And what drew you to Raghu? Because, any other employee would say, well, you haven't got this qualification, you haven't got this qualification, but you believed in him. What was it about Raghu that made you believe in him?
So when he came with me, I was single, right? So I spent time with him on a Saturday. And we go to lunch, and I talk to him. And I see he wants to work harder than normal. Every Saturday he will come in, he will work and then go to lunch. I saw that he's going to continue to So I gave him a job. A job was to, hang some, each, we used to cutting dies. I wanted him to write down each cutting die, which job it goes to. He single-handedly did that for 3 months when he was, intern with me. I said, wow, this guy it's good because, he finished the job. I mean, it was a huge job.
Wow.
I mean, he just did every single one. And he had to get up on a ladder, get the dice from the top, do the work. And then he started working in it. I said, well, he has a passion for learning and knowing new stuff. That was the trick. I said, well, I'm going to give him one.
And they often say that when you meet somebody with passion, that passion is so infectious and you feel the energy from that. I'm guessing that's what we're talking about here. So, I mean, but you also have a passion and, I've only met you a few minutes ago and I felt your passion straight away, which is great, right? But tell me something about yourself in terms of when I asked you for your title, I said, I'm guessing that you're CEO. And you said, hey, well, I guess I am a CEO, but you know what? I'm just one of the guys. Talk to me about why titles aren't important for you or inside your organization. What is it that causes you not to have this title?
Well, like I said, I don't have a title and my card doesn't have a title. I don't believe in title. So I would say we are a very flat organization. People know what they need to do. People know who they work with, but there is no titles. I mean, nowadays, I guess some people, when they go overseas, they need to have a title. So we're giving some titles to people who need to have a title. But over here, that doesn't make any difference. Like a pandemic time, right? Where we all came to work. We were actually very busy. And so what we did, the salary people went to for about 2 or 3 hours every day to help the factory. No title. Everybody was working together. So that gave us even better culture than we had before because we couldn't go anywhere. So we're spending more time with it. So that even built our culture stronger. So pandemic was a boon to this company. It's unbelievable. It sounds weird, but it is true. I mean, we always had a good culture. It's better now.
I love this, Subash. I mean, this is what my passion is. My passion is, to create cultures that we're talking about right now. So having an organization where things happen, things work, but people aren't hiding behind ranks, behind status. You can see here that I've got some hats up there. Now, you might not recognize those, but these are police hats. These were my police hats. And up here, just here, that this is all my ranks that I had in the police service, and everybody had a rank, everybody had a title, and we used to hide behind those titles. And I see this in so many organizations where in hierarchical organization, that title, that rank, that status that you have, it's very easy to hide behind that. But sometimes it also creates barriers between the various levels. But you're describing your organization as being a very flat organization. So I'm guessing that somebody from the ground floor could access you and speak to you if they wanted, or do they have to go through various people?
No, no, no. But the thing is, like for example, I walk the floor every day, and new employee, I greet him. I tell him I'm Subash. I never tell him who I am. A lot of people don't know yet. But what I do is I think that anybody has a problem, and all our people, supervisors, everybody knows that. One of the things we must do is that whatever the question have, we have to answer it. If we cannot do what they want, that's still okay. And you tell them why, but you must answer it. So I think that most of the time people get an answer. But if I'm walking, we have night shift, sometimes the people are working late and they can ask me, then I'll, if they want to talk to me personally, because then I say, okay, come on in and we talk. So it's not, and nobody gets upset because, hey, why so-and-so is in my office, because, we don't have that, really. We really have, it works. People know that there's a supervisor, they'll give you the work. So, it's not like a, but at the same time, even supervisors, they work with them. So they know, we all work. We all work.
I love your philosophy. I had a very similar philosophy when I was heading up 400 or 500 people in departments. I used to take an hour out in the morning and an hour out in the afternoon just to go and walk and meet my staff and have conversations, find out what their children were doing, what their hobbies were, and what was going on at home. All of these kind of conversations. But it's very good when the head of the organization or the head of the team is doing that. But it also depends on who else is doing that amongst your leadership team. So how do you ensure that this culture that you're creating is actually driven also by your supervisors, your managers, and your leaders in the organization? What are you doing to get them all on board?
So this, of course, we have a meeting with like a strategic meeting. We emphasize, we talk about what we believe in, what is AGORA, why we want to be who we are, right? And we talk about that. And every single person is approachable by anybody. Since our product starts with a new product, so the new design team is we have industrial designers and mechanical engineers. They have to work with the people. So they're approachable. When they make a new product, there's a problem. They have to go back and ask them, and it doesn't have to go through plant manager or anything. They have a question on the floor. They can say, hey, I can't put this together. Then they show it to them. So none of them is unapproachable. And it's the way it is. And all of them, like I said, they are their own boss. We have meetings, but it's not like, it's really very, very casual, but at the same time, we get things done because we want to get things done because we believe customer is number one. So we have schedules. So hey guys, what are you? And then, but nothing like, we don't have a project manager and stuff like that. I don't believe in that. We have nobody in the front office.
So it's not about process for you. It's not about driving a process. It really is about enthusing people to want to do the right thing, right? Yes. So, this is really a healthy culture from everything that you're describing here, but you don't achieve that kind of a culture overnight. And here's a test. I very often go into organizations and I'll speak to their senior leaders and say, look, I think culture is very important. And, I can teach you, your leaders, your teams, how to develop that culture. And they'll say, well, yeah, but how does that affect my bottom line, Kul? That's all I'm interested in. How does it affect the profit margins? But you've looked at it the other way around, haven't you? You've said my culture has to be right. The values of the organization are right. The mission statement has to be right. Everybody has to be on board. So I'm guessing that when you recruit people, one of the things that you're looking for is, will they fit into my organization? Will they have a shared value and a shared passion? How do you measure that?
Well, I don't measure it, but it's, if they don't fit, because see, we have about 16 or 17 nationalities. A lot of people cannot speak English as well. So we have to be tolerant so people know that, and if somebody has any type of issue with that, they don't even last.
Right.
Right? So, but somebody who is over here, there's always somebody speaks their language with us. So they kind of work it out themselves, But if it comes to some other group, I think we get involved to make sure that that they are okay with that. So I think that we yeah. So it's like we're like almost like United Nations. I mean, you know what I mean. But each one I've got, they come back with some amazing things we don't have. When I first started the business, with some people from Cambodia, and they were refugees. And one contract I had, but I had to make a rope handle. You know what I mean? But it had to be threaded, almost like braiding type thing. I designer didn't know, right? So there was one guy who used to be a farmer over there in Cambodia, and he knew exactly how to braid a rope.
That's incredible.
So we had like an order for like 10,000 pieces, and he did every single one of them. So I mean, how can somebody? Yeah, because threading is, rope is not something very unusual, right? So, but having all this diversity, it's helped this company because we have talent from, because they did that before, they know how to do it, and all of a sudden we have an answer within our company, which is, I think, is very exciting. To be able to. And that's why we said that if it was easy, everybody would do it. When it's kind of difficult, that's what AGORA has to be there. So we are the people who will tackle anything. Something we've done or not done, we have people who will tackle it. That's why our customers love us. Yeah, because I tell, yeah. If everybody is easy, anybody can do it.
Yeah, and actually, what you're showing there is that question that senior leaders very often ask me and say, "Wait, how does this affect my bottom line?" You're saying, well, this is how it affects your bottom line. Your customers are happier, your staff are happier, and I guess one of the measures across the world that people are measuring right now is this the amount of retention or turnover that they're experiencing, and there's talk of this great resignation where more organizations are experiencing staff turnover. Staff are leaving organizations where they don't feel happy, valued, appreciated, and they'll go to another organization. It's happening more than it's ever happened before. What's the staff turnover like at AGORA Edge?
Currently, I think, as you know, the pandemic has kind of turned things over. So I think that, the turnover we would have is a person would come in and maybe in a few days it doesn't work out because whatever they're like. But we are people 25 years over here, So it's like a
wow.
Because currently, the subsidies from the government, it's been a little difficult for all the businesses. But at the same time, our people who are with us are stepping up, So we are actually producing more with less people than we did a couple of years ago. So that tells you, so we're stepping up, yeah. But so I think that because the people who are here, they know, and we also, being engineers, we're automating. So we have a lot of things we do, which helps this company to just continue, even with all kinds of pressures from outside,
What we often get, the kind of people listening to this podcast are people who are leaders within their own right, maybe sitting in organizations, maybe running their own businesses, and they're looking for someone, they're looking for nuggets of gold, some wisdom from experienced leaders who are getting it right. If there were some top 4 or 5 tips that you would have that any other leader could take away from you to run an efficient, a happy workforce, a productive workforce, what would they be? What are the top 4 or 5 things that are really important to you as a leader?
Well, I think first of all, like I said, I like when people think that this company has everybody's treated equal. I tell everybody, listen, you have a job, I have a job. If I don't do my job, you can fire me. And that's exactly what I tell them, because I think I do my job, otherwise I don't belong here. So the new people, unless they see the culture in place for a while, they don't know that, right? And we also work hard, like I said, I work every Saturday myself. However, we have also find time to enjoy. So we have like every month, we have some treat for the people. Like, when we, every 2-3 months, we said, okay, we had a pretty good month, that's our pizza. We just try to get the people involved into other than, just work. And a lot of nationalities, they want to celebrate the day, the national or religious day. Okay, no problem. They can have a little get together outside or inside, and eat together, and that's fine. So I think things like that we allow all that. So we have when you work, you gotta have some time to kind of relax, so that's one thing we do, and we Christmas party is a company affair, and they love it, and we also take a management, like we just went to. Disney World, I think, we took everybody over there, and, work weekend, and no work, and there. So we try to do things like that. And we also celebrate, all these people, I said, everybody says why they don't want to work. I said, I got a lot of people working. I want to ask them why they want to work here. So I've been asking employees, and every Tuesday I put out a memo. I say, okay, why do you work here? What do you like about it? And they all tell me different stuff. And one of the main thing that comes out, they love get together Christmas time. They love the company treats them, and stuff like that. And the supervisor is good. So that tells me, that people do appreciate working, but they still want their time out. They don't want to just keep working.
I was having this conversation. What I'm loving about what you're saying, it also talks about some of the old companies from my childhood, where they used to, where you used to have employees that would work there for 20, 30, 40 years because they felt they were part of something. I was talking to my father-in-law. My father-in-law worked in Pirelli, the tire manufacturers Pirelli. My own dad worked in another tire manufacturer's Goodyear's. And they would both tell me, you know what, every single Christmas, the company would give us a token, one token for each child. The child would bring that token into the company. They'd open the company up, the company headquarters, for one day, and there'd be a huge hall full of toys. And you'd go in and you exchange your token for a toy. Another token would be to take your whole family to the theatre to watch a pantomime, which is big in the UK. We love pantomimes in the UK, particularly around Christmas. So there aren't many companies that do this kind of stuff. And actually what you're doing is quite an old-fashioned kind of thing to do. And I think a lot of companies have focused more on process and efficiency and streamlining, but you're focusing more on people, which is, I think, is incredible that you're doing that. And the proof of the pudding is in the results that you're getting. Your business continues to grow. Your staff are happy. Your customers are happy. What more does one need, right?
I think one other thing we have to do, which I do, is if the person has a problem doing his job, it's our job to make sure we make it easy, I think. So that's another thing we do, so that, we're constantly looking for somebody struggling for something. We want to find a way to fix it, because then somebody might not love the company, right? Because they're working hard, but there's an easier way, and we're making them. We don't see that. So I think it's our responsibility as a management to notice that, that this guy is working hard, what we can do to help him. So I think you really have to think like that to be able to, see that. So culture has to think like that. Hey, why this guy is, working so hard, or he's struggling to do something? Maybe just put in and just let me help him out, which we do that. Some supervisors just works out.
Yeah, because it could be quite easy for you to look at that employee and say, hey, they're being lazy, they're not performing, rather than understand why it is that they're not performing.
Exactly. It's an underlying reason. There's always a reason underlying, because most people come to work because they want to work.
Yeah.
Most people work. You might find occasionally people don't want to work, but they come to work. Why they are not doing this, it could be maybe something, they have a problem at home. There's something they're bringing it over there, which we can try to help them solve that or make it easy on them. I think then they'll do more for you. So.
You know what, Subash? I'm listening to you and I'm thinking, I want to work in your organization. I just think it's unique. It's unique in so many ways. A lot of organizations play at this. They will do things just to look good. Some organizations absolutely believe in the whole issue of creating the right kind of culture for their employees and being really, truly what this title is, human-centered leaders. And that's exactly what you are. But here, I just want to focus in on you. You're 73 now, and looking at you and listening to you, you've got so much energy. You're enjoying it. The passion is coming out, oozing out, really. What's the future like for you? What, are you going to keep going and going and you just enjoy the journey? How do you keep yourself energized? What's the secret?
Of course, I definitely want to continue, working, and I hope that as long as I can, I will, and because I'm also trying to develop people around me as well, so that they have a chance to see how to look at things and how to do better themselves. So I think that's one thing I'm doing now, because I'm traveling less now than before, so it gives me more time. I'm here more, so I'm taking advantage of that to see how I can make somebody better. I want to improve people's lives, myself, because I'm good. I'm very fortunate to be doing well in life, and how I can make other people, have a better life than they have now. So that's my goal, that's why I keep working. I also have to get the company continue to grow to be able to afford that. So naturally, we're very passionate about making sure that we continue to grow, have capabilities in our company so that they can have option to get better, But at the end, though, we definitely want to help them so they can have a better life. That's for sure.
Incredible. So the other final question really is, how do you keep yourself looking and feeling and acting so young? There's a secret. Are you taking some supplement or what is it? Are you sleeping 8 hours, 10 hours a day? What is your secret to life?
No secret. I do walk, every day. I walk 10,000 steps. I've been starting to do that for the last few years now. And eat everything, I know I don't have anything I don't do. And I do get 38 hours sleep for sure, and I don't get started in the morning as quickly as I did before. I used to come to work at maybe 6:30, 7 o'clock, work till 7. I come to work about 9:30, and about 6:30 I'm out here, And Saturday I go to work, but I go to work till about 10:30, 11. And maybe leave about 5 o'clock. So before I work 7 days, but now that's enough for me. I do enough. I'm more focused since I'm here. I think I accomplished a lot. When I go home, I know I got something done. So that makes me feel good.
I think that last point that you made is really about, if you want to be an outstanding leader, you have to practice self-care. Because unless you look after yourself, you can't look after anybody around you. And being in that leadership position, listening to people's problems, motivating people, impassioning people to follow the path of the organizations, to do their very best. All of that takes energy. And if you're not looking after yourself, that energy can impact on us as leaders and cause us problems. And then we're no good to anybody else. So, Subash, listen, it's been absolutely wonderful talking to you. It really has. I've seen a golden leader in you today. I couldn't have written this any better. The way you run your organization, your philosophies around leadership, you are truly what they call a human-centered leader. I'm so pleased to have met you. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you kindly, Kul. I don't deserve all that compliments you gave me, but I really who I am. I try my best. I'll continue doing that.